Hey, welcome to the Men's Room. I'm your host, Mark Sparks. Today's topic, we're looking at natural game, framing sets, and all the technical stuff that goes with that. Today's guest, Cajun.
What's up, buddy?
Chillin', my man. What's up?
Not too much, man. Just keeping it real.
Yeah, well, that's what I like to hear. So you've been jet setting for the last little while, man.
Yeah, I've been all over the place. I was just coming from Montreal. I was in Vancouver, and then down in the States a little bit too. So yeah,
You're just doing this, right?
it's my job.
Give me the down low on the Cajun spice.
I got into this stuff about 2 years ago. I had just come out of a long relationship, and so what happened was I was at a buddy's house of mine, and I saw this book on the couch. It looked like a Bible, and I was like, what is that, man? And he said, oh, it's this book called The Game. It's about this writer from Rolling Stone magazine who kind of infiltrates this whole community of pickup artists and learns how to like pick up women and ends up, picking up Britney Spears. So I picked it up and I read a few pages and I was like, wow, this is really interesting. I never heard about this before. So I borrowed his book and I read it that night, went out the very next night and tried using the lines that were actually in the book, and they worked really well. I don't know if it was because I was using the lines or if it was just because I had so much confidence in the lines, knowing that they had heard them or seen that they had worked in the book. And that was my first taste, and I just kind of never stopped since then. I just started pushing myself more and more and more. It's all gradual, You start off small, getting a girl's number or even getting attraction is like a huge step, and then it keeps going until all of a sudden it's like getting a threesome is like your next step, or whatever your goal is. It just takes some time. You got to practice.
Right, like anything else.
Like anything else.
Let's talk about sets and creating them, and fill me in a little bit. I'm new on that stuff.
There's a progress. There's events you follow in a certain order.
Okay.
And our standard model is attraction, comfort, and then seduction, which doesn't really take place in the bar. So when you see a girl you like, right, whether it be in a bar, on a bus, in the bank, there's several ways you can go about talking to her. There's indirect, and there's direct. Indirect is where you're not really letting her on that you're attracted to her. It's sort of an excuse to talk to her that doesn't sort of show your hand. It doesn't let her know that you are trying to pick her up.
Right.
And then there's direct, which is the exact opposite, where you're letting her know right away that your intentions. It's like you just say it right off the bat. Different styles work in different situations. Even in a bar, generally, indirect is the way you want to go. And that's the way that we teach. It's the easiest for people who are getting started. But there are situations in the bar where direct is more beneficial. For instance, let's say that you're in the bar and you see a girl make eye contact with you, and she kind of holds it. It'd be very It'd be very stupid to walk over to her and use an indirect line at that point, to say like, what do you guys think? What do you think about guys who cheat on their girlfriends or whatever, and whatever the many lines we use are? And that would seem kind of like, all right, he is not socially intelligent enough to know that I was obviously giving him an invitation. In those situations, you want to go direct.
Right.
Whenever a girl looks at me in a bar, I always look back and I hold eye contact. I don't look away until they look away. A lot of guys have this mistake, and I'm sure it's happened to you. It's happened to me. It's probably happened to everyone. Pretty girl looks at you, you kind of get a little nervous and you look away.
Right.
And sometimes you write it off in your mind as being like, yeah, I showed her I was cool. I'm not going to stare at her like all the other dudes.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, all the other dudes aren't staring at her either. They're staring at her, but not when she's staring at them.
Right.
So when a pretty girl is staring at you and you hold eye contact, that says a lot about you. I have a lot of female friends, and the one thing that I always ask them is, how do you guys pick up guys in a bar? Like, say you see a guy you like, what do? Most of them say the same thing. They just say, well, I look at him and make eye contact. And they say that if a guy who holds eye contact with them is, first of all, it's rare. And second of all, it's extremely sexy. My standard line, when a girl makes eye contact with me, I'll make eye contact and then I'll walk over and I'll say, listen, you can't look at me like that and not say anything. I'm very unapologetic about my advances. I tend to hit on girls mercilessly, and I don't apologize about it. One thing I like doing very early on is getting into a sexual frame. For instance, something that I'll say sometimes, even within the first 5 minutes, I'd love to take you to dinner and like take you on a date and stuff. I think you're really cool, but I also really want to fuck you. If it's in a group of girls, I'll say that to a girl and I'll like hold eye contact with her and like and sort of look very confident. And she'll be like, look at me and like, she won't know what to do, first of all.
Right.
She'll sometimes like ask her friends like, he just told me he wants to fuck me. And then her friends will be like, really? and like, look at me with these eyes. It's like, that's right, I did.
You want some too?
Yeah, exactly. Another line you can use to sort of set a sexual frame is, you know what, you're really cool. I'm just getting to know you and stuff, but you're really interesting. Even if I didn't want to fuck you, I'd still want to hang out with you.
Right.
If the girl sort of accepts that statement, then she just accepted the fact that you want to fuck her.
Right.
Which means you can keep going with that. You can keep hitting on her unapologetically because she's already accepted that. She's already accepted the fact that you want to fuck her, right? And she's okay with it.
Right.
Essentially, if she doesn't say anything. If you said that to one of your female friends, they'd be like, why did you say that?
Yeah,
like,
what's wrong with you?
What's wrong with you?
Absolutely.
Yeah, you can't do that. But when you say it to a girl you just met, then you're setting a sexual frame. You're not setting a friend, you're not her friend. You see her as well, I mean, you could be her friend, but
No, I understand what you're saying.
Right.
You're setting a bar where you see each other at.